On the International Women's Day, please welcome with me Dr. Itani and Ms. Hamdan, Fatima Hamdan. Dr. Itani is the Vice Chair of WIEEE Lebanon section. She is also a lecturer at the American University of Beirut, and she is very active as a mentor for entrepreneurs, especially for young women in entrepreneurship and IT industry. She is also consultant for academic institutions on the use of technology in education. Dr. Itani, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for the introduction. It's really a pleasure for us to be here on the Women's Day, which is, I think, a very pleasant, not coincidence, but I realized it this morning, like, oh, it's Women's Day and we're here to talk about women in engineering. I'm glad that we have more attention being given to women in engineering or women in the fields that we are not stereotypically tied to. So it's women who are proving nowadays that we can do anything, like just sort of like men, and men have to also support us and help us to achieve our goals, because this is better for everybody. It's not just better for women, it's better for the world, for the economy. Before we start, I would like to show you a small video that we have grouped together to talk more about women in engineering. I am 30 years old. I am a computer communications engineer and I have got my master's in engineering management.
I have chosen to do engineering because with engineering I can create something.
I am an engineering instructor at the American University of Beirut. I teach engineering labs in the electrical department. I have a PhD in neurorehabilitation. We apply engineering to the field of rehabilitation.
I'm a telecom engineer and the mobile telecom operator in Beirut.
I teach in the engineering school at the American University of Beirut, and I am researching actively on women entrepreneurship in the technology field.
I am a network and telecom professional. I work for the Central Bank of Lebanon since 9 years, and I had 6 years previous experience in Nokia Siemens networks also.
My specialty is in the biomedical engineering, where there is science, biology and engineering at the same time.
I have 4 years of experience in the telecommunication industry. Meanwhile, I was just a junior engineer, but I gained a lot of experience.
I choose engineering basically because I like to make things happen. I like innovation and not just be a user. I consider this job or this discipline a mission in the society, because we are dealing with patients and in the healthcare system.
It really is a fabulous place to work. You will be so satisfied in what you can achieve, the potential to
This is how I'm changing the world, bit by bit, by teaching my students the basics of engineering, being control systems or circuit designs.
So being an engineer is not easy.
I thought deeply about how we can raise future talents.
Happens by the little engineer. We are a place where we unleash the full potentials of learners so they can know exactly what they can do and how to excel in the field of engineering. So I guess by this initiative we are changing the world to a better place. I'm an engineer and I did a change.
One of the challenges during my engineering education was the fact that most of my colleagues were males. That was a fact, but actually it wasn't a big challenge. Back then I did not appreciate that I was a woman in technology, but now I know that I was really lucky, and I would like to also encourage girls, school girls and also girls at universities to keep on dreaming about becoming successful women engineers, because it is really possible.
Please do not be afraid of working in what you may perceive as a man's world. It is not.
As for the Women in Engineering Affinity Group, I was a founding member of the Lebanon section,
and it's still going on and growing.
It's the second event I joined the WIEE. I'll be definitely joining IEEE and then the WIEE.
I'd really like to encourage all you ladies and girls out there into careers in science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
And I will share soon the experience that I'll be having in the Tech One program, which I got accepted to join in Silicon Valley in San Francisco. So see you soon, and I'll be definitely sharing the great experience I will have.
And I encourage everyone to join WIE and whatever other women in engineering groups to network and so that we can benefit each other the most that we can.
Go forward and get those qualifications, your degrees, your PhDs, whatever, in STEM subjects, and come into this party. It's great.
Join WIE.
So this is a video that we put together after one of our events, and this is partly one of the objectives of women in engineering, to raise awareness, to encourage young women to actually take this mission of engineering and not be afraid of it, saying that, look, others have done it, so you can do it too. So now to start with the presentation, I would like to invite the chair of the Women Engineering Affinity Group to come to the podium, and then I'll take over when we need to talk about the event.
Hello, everybody. First, it's our pleasure to be here with you today, especially it's Women's Day. I want to thank you all for your interest you have shown so far, for your eager participation in this event. We do believe women engineers can make a difference in technology by thinking, acting, and approaching problems differently. The perspectives of women engineers can provide benefits in technology. That's why women should be brought into technology careers more. It embarks change in the business world. It makes impact and innovation in technology. That's why we women in engineering are extending our activities globally to spread the mission and vision to large communities. I'm really proud to be part of IEEE, the world's largest professional association for the advanced technology, and the WIE, Women in Engineering, the extremely valuable STEM resource for women and girls. Our global network is changing the world. Let's work together to realize our dream of building a zero-gender gap society where men and women will enjoy their life hand in hand in every corner of life with equal responsibilities. Actually, this was the chair of WIE's speech on the occasion of IEEE Day 2015. Now comes the question, why not a lot of women are choosing engineering? Let's see some statistics about that. 7 in 8 believed greater awareness was needed of what engineers do. 77% believed greater awareness of wide range of careers employing engineers graduate, and 2 out of 3, almost 2/3 of women engineers believed that careers advice about engineering was weak. 55% said they believed potential students were being put off by an idea that engineering was too difficult. Also, there are a lot of myths about this. Also, myth number 1, but it's just for boys. 3 out of 4 believe engineering is still regarded as a male career. Myth number 2, engineers fix engines, which is not true. 2 out of 3 think engineering is believed by too many to involve fixing engines. So to fix this, we need more female role models, better career information for women engineers for schools, work experience placements alongside of women engineers, and this is what Women in Engineering mission is all about.
Okay.
IEEE WIE Affinity Group exists and has been active since a few years back. A new committee composed of women in the engineering field has volunteered with the objective to revive it by organizing technical events where women in STEM could meet, discuss problems, encountered in our respective domains and form a professional network. This committee is composed of Yara Al-Asmar, Quality Control Engineer at Mirex and Secretary of WIEE Lebanon Section. Flavia Khatonian, Associate Professor at St. Joseph University of Beirut and Treasurer of our Affinity Group. Muna Itani, a professor at AUB and she's the Vice Chair of the group, and myself, Fatima Hamdan, a graduate from Lebanese American University and Chair of WIEE Lebanon Affinity Group. What is WIEE? She had the description at the beginning. As you all know, it's an international professional organization dedicated to promote women engineers and scientists and inspiring girls around the world to follow their academic interests to a career in engineering. And as mentioned before, the mission is to facilitate the global recruitment and to innovate for the benefit of humanity. I'll leave the floor for Mrs. Muna Itani to tell you more about information about our events and activities till now. Thank you.
Sorry, but I don't like podiums. All right, so this is just the timeline to show you that Women in Engineering has started some time ago, of course, internationally first. And then there was, they advocated for creating more affinity groups in the different parts of the world. So now we have several Women in Engineering affinity groups. In Lebanon itself, we actually have, let me see if we have this, the numbers here. Okay, no, maybe not, but we have, of course, the Women in Engineering Affinity Group that we are representing, the Lebanon Section 1, but we also have Women in Engineering Affinity Groups in different student branches. So, for example, at AUB we have one, and like if you are interested, you have one at, okay, you can actually create one at Rafik Hariri University as part of the IEEE Student Branch. This is definitely very possible. And of course, what the reason is, as Fatima mentioned, to basically raise awareness, shed light on the importance of women in this field. And of course, women are not just important in engineering, in all the fields. And now there is a huge call from the United Nations, from the World Economic Forum, from the World Bank, to engage more women in the business life, in the economic life. And because in fields of sciences and engineering and technology, we are still at very low numbers, a lot of initiatives, a lot of stress is being done here, and we are glad to be part of this stress, if you want to call it. So what do we really do? We first recognize women's outstanding achievements in electrical and electronics engineering. So part of it is shedding light on success stories. So basically, Rana Shmaitidi, which you saw in the video, the founder of The Little Engineer, is one of the success stories for us in Lebanon. And we actually take pride in having such women excelling in this domain, and we would like people to know more about them, because research has proven that when there is a role model, then people will be more encouraged to actually follow this path. So when women or young women or girls find that there are really role models and success stories of women engineers, they're going to be more encouraged to do it, instead of just having someone tell them you have to do it. Of course, organize receptions at major technical conferences to enhance networking and to promote membership in WIEE. And of course, we take advantage of all opportunities that arise. As Fatima said, we are working on a voluntary basis. So basically, each one of us has her own job. But we do give a lot of time to the women engineering activities because we believe in this mission. We advocate women in leadership roles in IEEE governance, provide assistance with the formation of new affinity groups. So in case you're interested in doing that, we can also give advice on that and support in creating activities and programs. Administer IEEE STAR program, and I'm going to talk a little bit later about this. We have a very huge event coming up only less than a week from now, that will target schoolgirls basically to encourage them to careers in engineering and STEM, promote member grade advancement, and facilitate the development of programs and activities that promote the entry into the retention of women in engineering programs. All right, so the motto, by the way, of Women in Engineering is very nice. It says, "I change the world, I am an engineer." And all the posters of Women in Engineering say the same thing. As an anecdote, I have been to the Women in Engineering International Leadership Conference in San Francisco in year 2015. And when I came back, I really felt that I have changed. They have emphasized so much on this concept that you can change the world, that I actually felt I can change the world. For some time I had been caught into the routine of my work and life and my kids and everything, and I had forgotten this urge that I used to have when I was younger. I used to really believe I could change the world. And when I went to this conference, it was a 3-day conference, very intensive. They got a lot of role models, CEOs and CXOs from large technical companies who are women, and there were like a lot of employees from Cisco, Intel, all of these big companies, and it was really, for me, life-changing. And only then I joined the Women in Engineering group in Lebanon, and I told them, I think we can really do a change. Let's do a change together. So this is not impossible. Of course, changing the world doesn't mean that you're going to change the entire world, but let's start with changing our world, and if each one changes their world a little bit, the whole world will be a better place. So this is what we mean by changing the world. So how do we do that? We do it through so many things. By the way, we have been featured on the International Women in Engineering newsletter around monthly because we were so active. We also won the Most Active Group Award. I personally won the Most Active Member Award in the last IEEE General Assembly in December, was it? In December. So basically, hard work pays off. Even if it's volunteer work, people would recognize it and they would appreciate it. And it's really very self-satisfying. All right, so for the START program, it's about, the START program is basically meant for people who have not started university. So Women in Engineering basically focuses on 3 levels. The first level is young girls who are still thinking about which career to pursue. And we have to expose them and definitely not impose on them the engineering, because not everybody is meant to be an engineer or a scientist, okay? So this is really something that you either have it in you or you don't. So our mission is to expose young girls to these fields through, in different ways, by awareness, by going to schools, talking to them, and by having them engage in hands-on activities. And this is exactly what we're doing, and I'll talk a little bit about it. The second level is basically the actual university students. So what about these students who are actually pursuing engineering? A lot of them would end up either dropping out either during the university years or after they graduate, meaning that, yes, they graduated as engineers, but they will not actually work in engineering. So also this is a problem. So just having an engineering degree is not enough. We want women who are engineers to really work in this field and to give to it and to make a difference in it. So also we talk to them about the advantages of this, and we also engage them in hands-on activities. So one of our big events that happened last year was what we call the She Develops Hackathon. We actually organized a women-only hackathon, and we invited students from different universities, and they had to develop a mobile application, and it had to be a simple working application. We brought a set of judges who are very well known in the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Lebanon, and three teams actually won valuable prizes. Regardless of the prizes, what these young ladies who are all pursuing fields that are related to engineering, or like computer science, maybe, or management information systems, they knew that I'm not just studying this for nothing. I can actually use this, use my skills and my capabilities and build on them and learn new things in order to make something really useful and that can actually change the world, because our mission was to work on the United Nations Millennium Goals. So they had to develop an application for the social good. and we'll talk a little bit about it also. All right, if you are interested, of course, for students, the Women in Engineering membership is free. So basically, you have to take advantage of this great deal. If you are IEEE members, the Women Engineering membership comes for free for students. Even for adults, it's for professionals, meaning it is really not very expensive at all. So basically it is $25 US, and if you opt for an electronic membership, it's only $12.5. One of the things we have done as the IEEE Women Engineering Committee, we have created a step-by-step guideline for professionals on how to actually become members of Women in Engineering. And of course, you should know that being an IEEE member is a prerequisite. So you cannot be a Women in Engineering member before being an IEEE member. And we did this because statistics tell us that most of our members are basically students. And we said, okay, that's good, but we also need more professionals. So why do professionals basically don't find a value anymore in being an IEEE member? For several reasons, but it's also one of our missions to try to change this view, especially when it comes to women in engineering. And through our events and being active, we have actually been successful in recruiting many professional members to become IEEE and Women in Engineering members. All right, what are the benefits? Of course, they are the same of IEEE plus additional things like access to the electronic Women in Engineering membership directory. There's a monthly Women in Engineering newsletter. There are, of course, I believe one of the most important benefits are the access to the local activities, events, seminars, workshops that happen on a local level. So if the Women in Engineering group is active in a certain place, being a member is really beneficial because the people would now have access to the network, to the events and the activities. All right, as I mentioned, we have an affinity group and a student branch affinity group. I'm not going to go again over this. Okay, and of course what we do is we do several things. We do host lectures, workshops. We are planning on a conference next year. So there are really so many possibilities out there. All right, just a second. This is our flyer, by the way. If you would like to follow us on social media, we are really active, especially on our Facebook page. This is the link. It's if you just need to memorize one thing, it's WIE Lebanon. And this is what we use for all our social media accounts. So it's for Facebook, for Twitter, for Instagram, anywhere. And this is also the hashtag. So #WIE Lebanon if you would like to tag us, all right? So this is basically to promote our social media. And on our social media, we promote a lot of events that are of interest to women engineers or women in science and technology. Plus, we promote a lot of scholarship opportunities, grant opportunities, and by the way, there are so many of these out there. A lot of, I went on this conference on a travel grant. Okay, I also went for another conference in Bangkok on a travel grant. There are a lot of awards out there if you believe you are doing something important that needs recognition. You can apply or someone can nominate you. There are a lot of opportunities out there for women in technology, and we believe that we have a responsibility to shed light on these opportunities, and we actually do this on our Facebook page. All right. So yes, that last year we had 182 members, and these are the different branches. We have at the American University of Beirut, the Beirut Arab University, and Notre Dame University, WIE student branches, and of course you can have one as well with a little process. I'm going to talk now briefly about our events. We have been very active in the last year, thankfully, and I hope this is why you invited us today, because we were able to actually do something. The first event was basically taking part of the Women Marathon in Byblos in 2015. That was a promotional event. We wanted people to know about this. Women in Engineering Lebanon exists and what we do, like just our objectives briefly. Actually, we had a lot of fun. and it was a great start, if you want to call it. Our second event was also a very successful event where we grouped, where we were successful in grouping women professionals, women at university level in engineering, and make them network with each other. That was in the month of Ramadan, so it was a pre-iftar networking and an iftar event. And during this event, we shot the video that you just saw at the beginning, which is I Changed the World, I'm an Engineer, the Lebanon version, because we have other versions in the different parts of the world. So we thought we should also show the world our part of the story as Lebanese. These are more photos of the networking event, which took place in July 2015. This is the video that you just saw. Of course, we also had presence in the IEEE Day event in 2015 in Notre Dame University and at AUB. So we were also trying, like today, to raise awareness about the role of women in engineering, what we do, and what other people can do as members and women in engineering. We also had a session, and this is about the Chevening scholarship. So we actually met with some of the responsibles for the Chevening scholarship in Lebanon. And this is a UK scholarship, one-year master's scholarship, and they approached us telling us, we need more women to apply for this scholarship, and maybe you can actually help us in disseminating this message. And we were glad, of course, we always take advantage of the opportunities that we get. We were glad to do an event at AUB. We called all the AUB alumni in not only engineering, but sciences, technology, computer science, let's say, and engineering. We called them and we told them more about the Women Engineering Group and told them about the Chevening scholarship opportunity, which is a great opportunity for professionals with 2 years of experience. It's fully paid scholarship. Also, we had a chance to collaborate with several organizations in Lebanon, and I believe this is the secret of success. So basically, we said, all right, great, what we're doing is great, but we need to be more impactful. We need to be able to reach more people and do bigger events. How do we do this? So I actually met with people from similar organizations, but they are not the same, who have similar objectives. And we thought together, why do we need to always do separate small events? Let's combine together, let's be grouped and do like a big, really big event. And this is where our partnership started with the Lebanese League for Women in Business. I don't know if you've heard of them. They are really a large women in business association in Lebanon. They are doing a marvelous job. They're not concerned only with technology, but they also advocate for women in technology. And we have the Arab Women in Computing in Lebanon. They also are, they have extremely similar objectives like women in engineering, with IEEE Women in Engineering, but they are under Arab WIC. This is a professor at the New York University. She is originally Palestinian. She always had this in mind, and like 2 years ago, she founded a whole organization that spans throughout the Arab world. She called it the Arab Women in Computing. She does a marvelous job in getting scholarships. For example, I don't know if you've heard of the Grace Hopper Conference. This is the largest conference for women in technology that happens in the world. She gathered scholarship to actually send around 12 women from the Arab world to go to that conference for free. So they have a lot of great initiatives. So also we said we need to partner with them to expand our network and to have more impactful events. And as I showed you, we partnered once with Chevening to spread awareness about their program, and another time with Tech Women. Come in, this is a very important program for women professionals with at least 2 years of experience, where they go to the US, to the Silicon Valley, for 5 weeks, totally paid. Everything is paid, even the daily expenses. And they get matched with a company or a mentor, and they learn from this mentor. So this is a great opportunity that we also hosted an event about to encourage more women in Lebanon to actually apply for this extraordinary opportunity. Alright, the She Develops hackathon that which I talked about briefly was held at AUB, and it was co-organized by Arab Week and WIE. The nice thing is that we were able to bring judges who are really well known in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, like Hala Fadil, Abdullah Absi, CEO of Zumal, Ren Abbas, the co-founder of Pixel Studios, ArabNet, and Fu. Fu now is a very successful company which some of its stakes were acquired by Zain. So this is one of the success stories. It was a startup like only 10 years ago, but now they are a very large company. They supported us. They provided the technical workshops for the university girls to make them learn Android mobile application development. And in just a week time, the girls were able to actually program a working application. And the winner was, they did actually an emergency app whereby just shaking the phone would send an SMS to a pre-designated emergency number. So this is for women's safety, and they actually won the first place. Can we please see the video?
Try what?
IEEE Women in Engineering Lebanon and Arab Women in Computing Lebanon chapter decided to do a new event. Why not let women, young women specifically, do a coding competition and prove to them that they can also code just like the boys? We are so glad that the She Develops hackathon has attracted so much attention and interest from the society. We had around 50 participants from different universities registered. The hackathon was to develop a mobile Android application, which was also sponsored by Google Developers Launchpad, and the theme of the application was supposed to be one of the UN Millennium Goals.
She Develops was a great experience for women and for university students to have them enhance their coding skills. And me, as a software engineer at FU, I really enjoyed working with the students here. It was a great experience.
So it was a really amazing hackathon. It was an amazing experience for everyone, from people in the industry to the students. And for developers, it's increasing like really crazy, like it's like 20% every single year, which means that we really need developers from diverse places, especially university.
Coding nowadays has a lot of capabilities, and we women should make use of these capabilities to make the world a better place.
Baby Hack application.
I'm Yawan. I participated in this amazing hackathon. I did it because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to learn Java because I had zero experience in Java, and I wanted to have more experience. And at the end of the day, I achieved each and every goal. Thank you.
Thank everyone who helped us in this day. Our sponsors, AUB, Computer Science Department and Electrical Engineering Department. We are thankful for FU, for IEEE Lebanon, for WAMDA, ArabNet, Zumal, for funding and sponsoring our event, for Google Launchpad, and everyone who has made this event a successful.
We could be strong enough and have the capabilities and technical know-how to support our community and our society out there.
Working for the social good, you could prove to Lebanon, to the society, and to all women, and especially young women, that you should believe in yourself. You can do it. You can learn how to code in a very short time and do a very good job. And together, we can definitely make the world a better place. Yes, we can change the world.
Rock and code.
I'll go quick. I know we're almost out of time. I just have one last thing to talk about. The Girls Got It event. This is taking place on March 12th, so on Saturday. Stay tuned because this will be covered by all the news channels in the country. We will be also interviewed by many TV stations to talk about this. This is the website, girlsgotit.org.